As the plane took off, I took one last look at my surroundings of the ground and then watched myself fly into the sky to start a new life in Mali. Hi, my name is Jack Wilson, and I am a 13-year-old. My parents are Blue Planet filmers that live in New York. My parents were just assigned to go to Mali to film Everyday Life there, a documentary that took the span of 4 years to create. When I found this out, I was thinking what documentary could take 4 years, but I guess this one had to. We were to be traveling 14 hours on a plane that had no TVs. All I could do was look out the window and see the landscape change. If you did not know, Mali was in Africa. Like I said before, the plane was 14 hours, and it was an overnight trip. The next morning, when we got to the airport, my heart sunk. It was smaller than the Albany airport. And trust me, that's small. There were no terminals, there were very few planes, and it was smack dab in the middle of nowhere. This was nothing like I ever seen before. When we got out of the plane, someone from Blue Planet had already had a taxi cab, and they would be driving us to Bamba, a town or city in Mali. I didn't know that the car would be broken down, and it looked like it hadn't been used in over 5 years. There was some bad news, though. The bad news was that the drive to Bamba would take 7 hours, which my parents had yet to inform me before we left. As we began the drive, the driver pulled out some money. It looked similar to the USA money, but I wasn't sure. My mom leaned back and said it was called West African CFA franc. I started to get a bit sleepy on the drive. It was mainly because I didn't have a good night because of the turbulence on the plane, but also there's a 7-hour difference. It was currently 10 a.m. The time difference didn't help me sleeping. As we drove past small villages, they were very spread out. The roads were made out of dirt, and on the side of the roads there would be small villages. The huts were made out of clay, it looked like, but I'm not sure yet. The men in that village were wearing some sort of hospital gown that went waist down, and it was all one piece of clothing. I wasn't sure what that was. Also, the women were wearing scarves on their heads, which didn't make sense to me because it was already 100 degrees outside. All the women were standing in one line. It looked like they were trying to get water. There was only one water spigot for one whole village, and that didn't give me good thoughts about where we were heading. On the drive to Bamba, the driver was very talkative. He told me that Mali was in the middle of the Sahara Desert, which sort of spooked me. He also told me people in Mali are mostly Muslim, and they pray 3 times a day. I must have fallen asleep, because when I woke, we were already there in Bamba. We were going up a dirt road. I had no idea where we were going, but I knew we were in Bamba somewhere. We were not close to the town, and we were out far in the desert. Then we stopped at a little camper. This seemed unrealistic. I thought to myself, how could we be staying in a camper? My parents said that this camper was to withstand the harsh conditions of Mali, Africa. When we opened the door to the camper, I was surprised. It was a bit smaller than our apartment in New York, but it would work. There were 3 beds, 2 on the top and 1 on the bottom, a large computer, and a kitchen space. After my parents did that, they said it would be a good idea if we all went into Bamba to see what we would be living in. I thought that was not a good idea, but they said otherwise. It was about a 5 to 10 minute walk into Bamba. As we got there, I was surprised. There were no cars, but horses pulling carriages, and I could hear laughter everywhere. After a few weeks, I sort of got used to my new life in Mali. I learned a lot. For example, did you know that 15% of people in Mali actually have electricity? Also, 35% make it past 15 or 20 years old. After a while, my parents surprised me and said that we would be leaving Mali soon. They wanted to take me to the Timbuktu monastery and mosque that was old worship made by Emperor Musa in 1935. Also, I learned about the Mali Empire, which really intrigued me. I learned about how the Mali Empire was made from the Ghana Empire and how the Mali Empire thrived because it had three large major gold mines. When I came back home, the noise of the cars was annoying at first, and then I got used to it. I finally came back to school. I told my friends about my amazing journey, and they were excited. I can't wait to taste a hamburger, I told them. I can't wait to taste pizza. Everything was new and exciting again. But I will never forget my amazing adventure in Mali.